Well, hello YouTube. Good morning. Here we are. We have ourselves a start to another day. Well, got some running around to do. And, welcome to our vlog. So, here we go. Well, first of all, I'd like to say I've always tried to keep my channels neutral, impartial-ish. Didn't really talk about much of what's going on in terms of politics or real-life events. However, I guess today is the big election day for the U.S. By the time you guys see this, it'll be, a few days after, and whatever is, and it is what it is, right? Well, I don't know what you guys feel about your presidential candidates. I know I live in Canada and all, but at the same time, what does go on in the U.S. does affect us as well. Not as much as you guys, but at the same time, it does affect us too. So, regardless of who gets in the office, each of them has their own, if you want to call it agendas or points or things they stand for. So at the same time, there's going to be changes come about and different direction that's going to affect everybody one way or another. If you guys watch politics, regardless of whether it's running for school council or running for the president, they all essentially do the same thing. They all come in with these great big promises, and toward the end of the term, they always leave pretty much the same way. Promises are unfilled or so, not all the ones they promised, as well as a bunch of other new ones that you never thought they'd ever do, but they end up doing. So what kind of scares me about certain candidates when they come in their election promises and start making all this stuff? Well, what happens when they say what they say? Are they going to do what they say? And if they do what they say, what's going to happen then? Some companies count on cheap labor, regardless of who it is, whether it's teenagers or, the cheap labor, the minimum wage or day labor. Well, that's going to drive the price of everything up. Other countries or other companies count on certain things to be at play, and if you put stops to that, again, that's going to mean jobs and changes. So in the next year or so, year or two, if it takes that long, it'll be interesting to see what exactly goes on. One of the candidates I've been watching for a while, it'll be interesting to see what happens. If they start World War III or what. And another one of the candidates I've been watching, it's like, you obviously have to be rich to be in politics. That seems to be one of the things. Every prime minister or president you get always has some type of a rich backing or family life. So in a way, they're not in touch with the average working person. But at the same time, they have powerful, rich friends that obviously are able to finance their campaigns, pay for their things, pay for their way through. And that's why they're able to do what they do, right? Money makes the world go round. If you walk into a place of business and you want to buy something, if you're looking to buy something and you throw down a wad of cash, the staff, managers, and everything trip all over you. But if you walk into the same business wanting the same item but you want it financed, they kind of look at you like you're wasting our time. I've done it both ways. The one time I've walked in and to buy a car, and basically it was like you know, you're wasting our time kind of a deal. That's the vibe that I got off of the salesman and the manager. But you should have seen their expression changed when I dropped a bundle of $100 bills on the manager's desk and said, "Here, I want this vehicle." It went from immediately, "You're wasting our time," to, you know, "Yes, sir, right away, sir. I'll bring her around for you, sir, and we'll give you a free air freshener." You know, it's sad when the little guy goes in and he gets trampled by the entourage that's following and kissing up to the big guy. I remember when I used to work in big box hardware store that the little guy would be in wanting a fence project priced out. You know, it's only a 25-foot fence or something, or a shed project or whatever, and the little guy is waiting in lineup. Well, this big guy walked in and wanted a garage quote or a house quote or whatever, and they drop everything, kissing up to this big guy, giving him free tools, free delivery, free all this stuff. And basically the little guy goes somewhere else because he gets ignored, and the big guy never does come back for the garage or the house quote, because it was just for insurance anyway. He wants to deal elsewhere. He just had to get this extra quote because the insurance company wanted. You know, it's the same with dealing anywhere else. You know, money talks, right? You know, like I said, you walk in there, throw cash down, they trip all over you. Where you walk in there and you don't flash your wad of cash, they have no idea if you're serious or a tire kicker. And coming from a retail point of view, I've seen it all. I've seen a lot of the time wasters, and you think of all the pressure and deadlines in the shift that I went through, and have to waste 20 minutes, half hour on a customer that has no intention of buying a product, whether it's a bed or a couch or a vehicle, or even quoting on a shed that they'll never buy. You know, they'd rather have one delivered than build it themselves. But at the same time, isn't that what you're there for? You know, as a customer service representative for the company, aren't you there to help the customer no matter what? If the customer is a time waster or a tire kicker, you don't just dismiss them, right? Or at least that was my attitude, regardless the guy, whether he was in there for 1 2x4 or 3,000 2x4s, I gave him the same time and attention and customer service. I don't know, maybe I'm different, maybe I'm old school or something, but it seems that times have changed, right? So I have no idea if this here vlog will be still going at the end of the day, or whenever the election results to come in. But it should be an interesting day for the US, and resulting, you know, Canada and other countries that work with them, because, well, the president will come in, have different ideas, and I'm sure it'll be a different, you know, a couple of years coming up here. Hopefully everything gets sorted out and the best candidate wins for what's good for the countries, I guess. You know, it's kind of like, which one do you choose to guard the hen house? You know, the fox or the weasel, right? But pretty much, guys, I got to return something that I borrowed from yesterday, and I have no idea the direction of the day. I've got a video to edit and another one or so to shoot. Other than that, that's pretty much all that's pressing for today. Make me a couple of phone calls and, well, a round re-roll. So we'll catch y'all later. A little bit of an afternoon update. Well, came home from the old running around. Did a few things in the old office. Made a few more phone calls. Sent a few more emails away, you know. Digging through old records and papers, trying to find paperwork from policies that are, I don't know, 25, 30 years old, kind of a deal, and or more. And some of them I am finding, other ones I'm not. I found some paperwork from that has my name on it that I have no idea where it comes from. So I'm gonna have to call those two companies and just to make sure what they are, for starters, and if I can find out the amount on them. You know, if there's something that is current, well then that's pretty good. Let them keep on riding. If they're not current, well then, you know, get rid of the paperwork, right? Be less confusion on the other end. I did some more emailing this morning and sent those paperwork away. I did hear back from one of the cemetery places, and I forget exactly the year, but there were plots bought in a certain cemetery. And when things changed with my family, there was talk about the plots being sold. So I just wanted to check to see what exactly happened there, because, well, if they were sold, then when the time comes in another, 40, 45 years, 50 years, when they need to be used, then that way you're not caught flat-footed. So I heard back from them, and everything's good to go there. So of course Dad wants to be buried in the family cemetery, so I emailed them and just waiting to hear back. Now, as far as I can tell, there are 3 plots in that cemetery, so we should be good to go for that. And well, as long as paperwork hasn't changed or nothing has had a severe hiccup, it all should be good to go. It's just a matter of covering your bases. I know that I will be using Dad's plot come the spring, right? So then there should be another one left over for, me in another, 60 years or so. And, maybe I'm jumping the gun. Maybe I'm just wanting to be prepared because, well, with Dad, it was pretty much all over with in a week, kind of a deal. By the time the second week rolled on around, it was final, And I know people who have passed away within hours of talking to them. They're gone. So if I can pass anything on to the next person, I know it's kind of sounds morbid and kind of sounds like you got your fingers in the cookie jar per se, but be prepared, get paperwork together, especially if you are the executor and power of attorney. Get policies and paperwork and funeral requirements or wishes, all that together, so if and when the time comes, whether it's for you or a loved one, you're not caught totally flat-footed. And same with your loved one, they're not caught totally flat-footed either, because of course, they're going through a heck of a pile of stuff, dealing with your passing or death as well, and then having to stumble their way blindly through all the crap that goes on with it, phoning the government, trying to get this going and filling out all this paperwork that just to get turned down because you never had anything there to begin with, but you had to try, you had to ask, and had to do all that to get basically a dead end. So, like I said, just waiting to hear back on that one cemetery. I am for certain that there are plots there. I just need to know the location of them, because 2 were bought at one time, and then the third was bought like 4 years later or something like that. So I'd imagine it would be in a different row or different section. So when the time comes for that one, then that way we can know where's the where, There was an agreement with a family member that the family member could use one of those plots. So I'll have to find out with that family member if their significant other wants to be buried there as well. Then that means they'll get the 2 plots, and then there'll be the single one left over for Dad. And It kind of opens up a bit of a can there, because if there's 3 being used, then that means I'll have to get one, for my future use down the road. But hey, we will cross that one when we get there. Everybody has their own preferences. Some people want to be buried together, as in couples, and other people want to be buried in their family cemetery, sometimes in different provinces or even different countries. So, husband and wife might be buried together, or maybe not. Maybe the husband wants to be buried in the family cemetery in Alberta, where the wife wants to be buried in the family cemetery in Saskatchewan. So then it's just one on one, right? So of course I haven't heard anything yet from the whole US election thing. I've been monitoring social media, so I'd imagine the counts obviously aren't in yet because the polls aren't closed. If I'd imagine their system probably works similar to ours in Canada here. There are reports already of possibility of issues with the voting system, but that's going to happen when everything's computerized and such, with the sheer volume of traffic that they will be receiving, right? So as soon as I know, of course, I will drop an update to you guys. However, by the time you guys see this here vlog, the whole election thing will be, well, in the past. But pretty much, guys, gotta go score me some supper. I'm probably gonna throw a 12-minute pizza in the oven, and then around and around I roll. Probably fire up the old TV, see what's going on, and we'll see y'all when it's dark. A little bit of an evening update. Well, of course, made some supper, had a bit of a relaxing evening here, watching a little bit of TV and such. Well, one of the things that I've been watching, of course, is the US election. Now, they said from pretty much the beginning, whoever secures Florida and Georgia will, chances are, be the new president. Well, right now, we're sitting right about 30-point spread or so between them for the overall standings. And I'm sure by now you guys already know who it is. Well, they have secured Florida and Georgia. Now, of course, providing that a certain person holds true on the election promise, if they get into office, that they made, then it might be good for Canada for that thing. However, I'm sure there will be other obstacles, other things that have been said, and we'll have to overcome to get it to work and all. I know our Prime Minister has opposed a lot of the things that the presidential candidate or president-elect, if it works for that favor, stands for. So there might be very, very strongly strained relations between Canada and the States if that presidential candidate gets into office. So, of course, we will have to see how it plays out, but for right now, it's looking, well, that way. Hillary opposes, the pipeline and anti-oil, stuff like that, where Trump is all for it. However, essentially he wants a bigger piece of the pie, kind of a deal, when it comes down to it. So we'll have to see how it works. I know right now, with Alberta being out of work and such, having the pipeline go through will most definitely be a good thing for Alberta. However, at what cost, right? Not to mention, of course, the environmental cost and risk and all that. But what cost is it going to cost to get the pipeline approved, right? So, of course, going to go back inside, see what's what. Probably next time I do a check-in, the results probably will be announced, I'm imagining. And then, around and around we roll. We come to the end of another day. Well, of course, watching the US election, And, well, it looks like, well, the presidential candidate has been chosen. The people have voted. It's not official yet, but at the same time, you can pretty much guarantee that they got the right numbers there. Well, don't 100% know how it's going to shake out. There was a lot of feathers ruffled through this candidate's stance on what they believed in and what he was saying and all that. So I imagine there'll be some changes in markets. The prices of things will go up and down and all that good stuff, but until things settle on down. Alberta might end up getting back to work, which will definitely be a plus. However, how big of a piece of the pie is he going to want to get the pipeline put through and Alberta back to work? A lot of us have been unemployed for a while now. Some of us is going on to be 2 years. And, some of us have lost it all, right? And to have somebody willing to put through a pipeline that's going to create jobs for us, that will greatly be appreciated. But at what cost, right? So, of course, we'll see how that goes. I guess apparently there was shootings and protests and stuff like that at polling stations and that. So people were definitely doing their resistance and doing their part in, saying what they believed. However, obviously, it wasn't good enough to make the change that they were hoping for. So, of course, sometimes you do ruffle feathers when you don't stand with the majority of the powers that be, and a candidate like that that's standing against the powers that be, that claims he's with the people, might be good for the people. However, given the way politicians are, they tell you one thing and they do an opposite another. So time will tell on how good of a president he really is. But pretty much, guys, gonna end her all here. Today was a good day. Tomorrow's another one. Round around we go. And as always, thanks for watching Maxwell's Vlogs. Comment, subscribe, and enjoy.